the blue and gold. That unmistakable rumble. For decades, those three letters, STI, have stood for the pinnacle of Subaru's rally-bred performance. It was a promise of turbocharged, all-wheel drive fury, a giant-slaying sedan for the everyman. We waited. We hoped. We practically begged Subaru to bring back the legend. And now, they finally have, well, sort of. This is the 2025 Subaru WRX TS. The TS means tuned by STI, and it is, for all intents and purposes, the successor to the icon we've missed since 2021. It has the look, the badges, and a host of new, hardcore, STI-developed performance parts. But it also comes with a shocking twist, a detail that has sent a tremor through the faithful. Subaru has pulled the wraps off this machine, billing it as the ultimate expression of WRX performance. Yet they've held back on the one thing we all expected. There's no more power. Not a single extra horse. It has the same 271 horsepower, too. 4-liter boxer engine as every other WRX in the lineup. This is the great performance sedan shocker of 2025. So, the big question is this. Can a car carry the weight of the STI legacy without a more powerful heart? Can brilliant, track-focused upgrades to the suspension, brakes, and chassis make up for an engine that's doing the same job as its lesser siblings? Is this a true spiritual successor, or just a well-accessorized WRX? Today, we're going to break down every single STI tune component and find out if this car is a genuine performance masterpiece or just a masterclass in marketing. Before we touch the glorious gold Brembo brakes or talk about the magic in the suspension, we have to address the elephant in the room. It's a 271 horsepower, 258 pound-foot elephant, and it's sitting right under that iconic hood scoop. The 2025 WRX TS uses the exact same 2.4-liter turbocharged FA24 Boxer 4 engine you'll find in every other WRX trim level. Let that sink in for a moment. Subaru Technica International, the legendary performance division behind some of the most ferocious four-cylinders in history, was given the green light to create the ultimate WRX, and the engine was left untouched. Now, those numbers aren't necessarily bad in a vacuum. 271 horsepower is healthy for a compact sedan. Subaru notes the torque is available across a wonderfully broad power band, from 2,000 all the way to 5,200 RPM, which should make it incredibly responsive on the street. A 0 to 60 miles per hour time around 5.5 to 5.6 seconds is certainly quick enough to be entertaining. But context is everything. The last STI sold in America left the stage with 310 horsepower. More importantly, every single one of the TS's main competitors, the Honda Civic Type R, the Toyota GR Corolla, the Volkswagen Golf R, and the Hyundai Elantra N, all produce more horsepower. The GR Corolla, with its tiny 1.6-liter 3-cylinder, puts out 300 horsepower. So why? Why build a car that's outgunned from the start on paper? The reasons are likely a mix of modern automotive realities. First, there are emissions and fuel economy standards, which get stricter every year. Developing a higher output engine for one low-volume trim is incredibly expensive and could have pushed the car's price into an impossible bracket. Second, there's reliability. The FA24 is a known quantity. It's used in heavier vehicles like the Ascent and Outback, so in the lighter WRX, it's relatively unstressed. Cranking up the boost introduces new variables and potential long-term reliability issues. Then there's the future. It's no secret the auto world is marching toward electrification. It's possible Subaru decided against a huge R&D investment in a new high-performance gas engine when the next-gen STI could be a hybrid or full EV. In that light, the TS looks like a final, perfected evolution of the purely gasoline power platform. A celebration of chassis dynamics over brute force. For enthusiasts, this is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's a letdown. The heart of an STI has always been a special engine. On the other hand, the FA24 platform has immense tuning potential. Owners are already getting significantly more power with simple tunes and bolt-ons. So while Subaru didn't give you more power from the factory, it's definitely in there, waiting to be unlocked. Paired exclusively with this engine in the TS is a 6-speed manual transmission. In an age of lightning-fast dual clutches, making the top performance model a manual-only affair is a direct signal to enthusiasts. It's a statement that this car is about engagement and the joy of driving. At first glance, the 2025 WRX TS is unmistakably a modern WRX, with all the controversy that comes with it. The design is aggressive and angular, but it's the details that set the TS apart and tell its performance story. Let's start with the most celebrated upgrade: the wheels and brakes. The TS rides on exclusive 19-inch multi-spoke alloy wheels, finished in a menacing satin gray. They fill the wheel wells perfectly and give the car a more planted, purposeful stance. More importantly, they're necessary because hiding behind them is a massive, high-performance Brembo braking system. The calipers are painted in that iconic gold that has adorned high-performance Subarus for generations. You'll find beefy 6-piston monoblock calipers up front and 2-piston calipers at the rear. These clamp down on larger rotors designed for superior heat dissipation and fade resistance. This isn't just a cosmetic upgrade. This is serious, track-ready hardware. The TS also gets a few exclusive aesthetic touches. The door mirrors, roof-mounted shark fin antenna, and trunk lip spoiler are all finished in a contrasting crystal black silica. You'll also find the TS and STI badging on the trunk lid, announcing the car's pedigree. Of course, we have to talk about the plastic cladding around the wheel arches. On the TS, especially in World Rally Blue, the dark plastic arguably finds its best home. It leans into the car's rugged, rally-inspired ethos. While some purists will forever want painted fenders, here it feels less like a cost-saving measure and more like a deliberate, functional choice. Up front, the massive, functional hood scoop takes center stage, feeding cool air to the intercooler. At the rear, the aggressive theme continues with quad-exit exhaust tips and taillights designed to glow with a look inspired by volcanic magma. One fascinating detail is what's missing: a sunroof. Subaru deliberately deleted the moonroof on this trim to save weight, lower the car's center of gravity, and provide extra headroom for drivers wearing a helmet on a track day. That single choice tells you everything you need to know about the TS's mission. This car isn't about looking at the stars, it's about hitting the apex. Swing open the door of the WRX TS, and you're greeted by an interior that builds on the standard WRX, but elevates it with a clear focus on the driver. The defining feature is the pair of standard Recaro performance design front seats. These aren't just regular seats with a fancy logo. They are heavily bolstered, trimmed in leather and grippy ultra suede, and accented with bright blue highlights that carry through the cabin. They're designed to hold you firmly in place during high-G cornering while still being comfortable enough for a long road trip. The blue accents are tastefully echoed on the flat-bottom steering wheel, door panels, and shifter boot. Another nod to its heritage is the red STI logo on the push-button ignition, a small touch that brings a smile to your face. Ahead of the driver is another significant upgrade exclusive to the TS, a new 12.3-inch, fully digital LCD instrument cluster. This replaces the traditional analog gauges and is a major tech step for the WRX. The display is crisp, customizable, and can even show a full screen map, so you don't have to glance at the center screen for directions. That center stack is dominated by the same 11.6-inch vertical touchscreen infotainment system found in other high-trim Subarus. This is the command center for media, navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto and climate controls. For the TS, this screen is also how you customize the car's performance via the Drive Mode Select system. The material quality is a step up with soft-touch plastics and ultra suede on the dash. The back seat is surprisingly spacious for a compact sedan, and the trunk offers a reasonable 12.5 cubic feet of cargo space, making the TS a genuinely usable daily driver. This isn't a stripped-out race car. It's a well-equipped and comfortable sedan with a hardcore, rally-bred soul. This is where the soul of the STI lives. If the engine is the same old song, The chassis is a brand new symphony composed by Subaru Technica International. This is what you're paying for with the TS badge. First, and most importantly, is the suspension. For the first time on a manual WRX, Subaru has equipped the TS with electronically adjustable dampers, tuned specifically by STI. This system, previously reserved for the automatic-only GT trim, is a game-changer. The driver can choose between comfort, normal, and sport modes. In comfort, the ride is noticeably more compliant, absorbing bumps in a way that would be alien to previous STI owners. It makes the TS a surprisingly livable daily commuter. Switch to sport, and everything tightens up dramatically. The system is also adaptive, constantly adjusting to reduce body roll and keep the tires pressed to the pavement for maximum grip. Next, let's revisit those brakes. The gold Brembos feature massive 6-piston front calipers and 2-piston rear calipers, a huge upgrade over the standard WRX brakes. They bite down on larger rotors that provide a massive increase in fade resistance during hard use on a track or mountain road. This is probably the single most important hardware upgrade for anyone planning to drive the TS hard. Finally, there's the drivetrain. All WRX models come with Subaru's legendary symmetrical all-wheel drive. In the manual-equipped TS, this is the same well-regarded system found in other manual trims, featuring a viscous coupling center differential. While the hardware isn't different, its interplay with the STI-tuned adaptive suspension and brake-based active torque vectoring creates a unique character. The whole system is tuned for maximum agility, helping the car pivot into a turn and power out with incredible stability. Together, the adaptive suspension, monumental brakes, and tuned AWD system are the core of the tuned by STI promise. This is the moment of truth. Does the brilliance of the chassis make you forget about the unchanged horsepower? Let's start in the city with the drive mode set to comfort. This is where the TS reveals its first shock. It's comfortable, genuinely. The STI-tuned adaptive dampers work miracles on broken pavement. Where previous STIs would have crashed and shuddered, the TS glides over imperfections with a sophistication that's completely new for a car with this pedigree. As a daily driver, it's remarkably civilized. On the highway, the car feels stable and planted. For the first time in a manual WRX, the TS comes with Subaru's full EyeSight driver assist technology suite, including adaptive cruise control and lane centering assist. This makes long journeys far less fatiguing. But we came for the winding back roads. Toggle the drive mode to sport, and the WRX TS has a complete personality transplant. The dampers stiffen, the steering gains weight, and the throttle response sharpens. Dive into the first corner, and the difference is immediate. Turn-in is incredibly sharp, with a near total absence of body roll. The chassis communicates exactly what the road is doing, letting you play right on the edge of adhesion with huge confidence. This is where the all-wheel drive system comes alive. You can get on the power incredibly early on corner exit and just feel the system dig in and launch the car out of the bend. And then you get to the next corner and stand on the brakes. The power of the 6-piston Brembos is immense and inspires total trust. So what about the engine? Does 271 horsepower feel like enough? In the heat of the moment, attacking a challenging road, the answer is mostly yes. The broad torque curve means you're almost always in the power band. The engine is eager, and when paired with this incredibly capable chassis, the car feels balanced and cohesive. The chassis is so good that it becomes the star of the show. However, the thought does creep in on the straights. You can't help but feel that this chassis could easily handle another 50 or 70 horsepower. The car is quick, but it never delivers that violent punch that STIs of the past were known for. It's a momentum car, a machine that rewards smooth, precise driving over brute force. The chassis absolutely cashes the check, but you can't help wishing the check had been written for a slightly larger amount. The 2025 WRX TS enters a shark tank of a segment, facing off against icons like the Honda Civic Type R, Toyota GR Corolla, and Volkswagen Golf R. Against the front-wheel drive Civic Type R, Often hailed as the handling benchmark, the WRX TS counters with the all-weather capability of its symmetrical all-wheel drive. The Typer might be a scalpel, but the WRX is a rally-bred multi-tool. The most direct rival is the Toyota GR Corolla. Both have Japanese rally heritage and all-wheel drive. The GR Corolla brings more power and a raw experience, but the WRX TS, with its adaptive suspension, is a far more comfortable daily driver. The WRX is also a more practical sedan, while the GR Corolla is a hatchback with less cargo space. Compared to the VW Golf R, the WRX TS feels more analog and engaging, thanks to its mandatory manual transmission. The Golf R is a tech powerhouse that's often faster in a straight line, but it can feel more sterile. The WRX offers a more old-school, visceral connection. But the most important comparison is to its predecessor, the last V8 chassis STI. Is the new TS a worthy successor? It's complicated. The old STI was raw, uncompromising, and brutally fast. The new TS is not that car. It's more mature, more comfortable, and more technologically advanced. It sacrifices some of that raw edge for a much broader range of capabilities. It is, without a doubt, a better daily driver than the old STI ever was. So, back to the big shocker, the spiritual successor to the STI with no extra power. After driving it, after feeling what the STI engineers accomplished with the chassis, brakes, and suspension, does it matter? Yes and no. The lack of a power bump will forever be a point of disappointment for a car tuned by STI. It feels like a missed opportunity. But to focus only on that would be to miss the point. This isn't just a WRX with a sticker pack. This car has been fundamentally transformed by its chassis upgrades. The adaptive dampers provide a stunning duality of character, daily driver comfort, and track-ready composure in one package. The Brembo brakes are monumental. The result is a car that is immensely capable, deeply engaging, and an absolute joy to drive hard. The 2025 WRX TS isn't the fire-breathing, big-winged STI we all remember. It's something different, more subtle, more mature, and infinitely more livable. It argues that the ultimate performance car isn't always the one with the most horsepower, but maybe the one with the most sophisticated chassis and engaging drive. It's not the successor we expected, but for the driver who values handling purity and daily usability, it might just be the successor we need. What do you think? Can you forgive a lack of power for that incredible chassis? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, be sure to like and subscribe for more.